A grand paradox sits at the heart of atheist arguments against intelligent design in general and God in particular, a paradox that undermines the very foundation of their arguments, and that is their denial of free will. A cornerstone of atheistic thought, this denial is not only logically inconsistent, but also, as we will see, scientifically unsound. Atheists, particularly those of the Darwinian stripe, dismiss free will as an illusion, a mere trick of the mind. Jerry Coyne, a vocal proponent of this view, once proclaimed, "Free will is an illusion so convincing that people simply refuse to believe that we don't have it." Yet this statement is a textbook example of a self-refuting argument, a glaring logical inconsistency that should raise eyebrows in any Philosophy 101 class. The denial of free will is not just a philosophical quirk. It has profound implications for our understanding of science. As George Ellis, a renowned cosmologist, astutely observed, if Einstein did not have free will in some meaningful sense, then he could not have been responsible for the theory of relativity. It would have been a product of lower-level processes, but not of an intelligent mind choosing between possible options. In other words, the denial of free will undermines the very possibility of scientific discovery. The irony doesn't end there. Those who argue against free will find themselves in a logical quagmire. Martin Cawthron, an author and educator, points out, by their own logic, it isn't logic that demands their assent to the claim that free will is an illusion, but the prior chemical state of their brains. In essence, the denial of free will undercuts the very basis of logical argumentation. As George Ellis noted, if they don't have free will, then why waste time talking to them? They are not responsible for what they say. But how do these arguments fare in the face of lived experience? As Nancy Pearcey highlights in her 2015 article, Darwins Robots, when evolutionary materialists admit that their own worldview fails. Even the most ardent deniers of free will struggle to reconcile their beliefs with their daily lives. Take Galen Strawson, a philosopher who boldly claims that the impossibility of free will can be proved with complete certainty. Yet, when pressed, Strawson admits, "To be honest, I can't really accept it myself. I can't really live with this fact from day to day." Even Richard Dawkins, a stalwart of atheistic thought, concedes that living as if we had no moral agency would be intolerable. Yet, if one cannot live in accordance with one's beliefs, then those beliefs can't possibly reflect reality as it really is, but instead those beliefs must be based on a delusion. Yet the case for free will is not merely philosophical, it is also scientific. Neurosurgeon Michael Egnor, in an article titled, "Is Free Will a Dangerous Myth?" concludes that the neuroscientific evidence unequivocally supports the existence of free will. Free will is a real and fundamental aspect of being human, and the denial of free will is junk science and self-refuting logical nonsense. Quantum mechanics too lends support to this view. Nobel laureate Anton Zeilinger, who closed the freedom of choice loophole in quantum mechanics, notes, "What we perceive as reality now depends on our earlier decision what to measure," which is a very, very deep message about the nature of reality and our part in the whole universe. We are not just passive observers. So where does this leave us? The denial of free will, a cornerstone of atheist arguments against intelligent design in general, and God in particular, is not only logically inconsistent, but also at odds with both lived experience and scientific evidence. In short, the main and fatal flaw in atheists' argument against intelligent design in general, and God in particular, is that their denial of free will undermines any claim from them that they are even capable of making logically coherent arguments in the first place. To repeat Ellis, why waste time talking to them? They're not responsible for what they say. One final note in closing, allowing the agent causality of God back into physics, as the Christian founders of modern science originally envisioned, Isaac Newton, Michael Faraday, James Clerk Maxwell, and Max Planck, to name a few of the Christian founders, and as quantum mechanics itself now empirically demands, with the closing of the freedom of choice loophole by Anton Zeilinger and company. Rightly allowing the agent causality of God back into physics provides us with a very plausible resolution for the much sought-after theory of everything, in that Christ's resurrection from the dead provides, via the Shroud of Turin, an empirically backed reconciliation between quantum mechanics and gravity, which is to say general relativity, into the much sought-after theory of everything.